Hey guys, Mike here at Vlog011 Productions. Today is the 9th of December 2018. It's been a week since my last video blog, which I suppose is a good thing. You know, we're keeping fairly current, and that is actually the subject matter of this video. I suppose you could see this video as a bit of a talking to my diary stroke talking bollocks type video. But basically I wanted to kind of cover why we share things, you know, and why is everyone, you know, creating blogs, doing podcasts, doing YouTube channels, all these sorts of things, you know, Snapchat, Instagram, all those kind of social apps that we kind of use. And I suppose some of the negativities surrounding that, and the breakdown of the actually being an incredibly positive thing. You know, there seems to be this stigma of, you know, count how many times have you heard someone, they start up a channel and you as a friend or as a follower or a family member or whatever are kind of like, you know, you enjoy watching that content from that person, right? Because you like that person and you want to see them doing well and you're interested in their craft, or you want some insight into their life. So you enjoy their channel, you enjoy reading their blog, and then all of a sudden they stop and you think, oh, why did that happen? You know, you might not have checked in every day or every week or watched every video, but occasionally you check in and such and such is still doing that thing. Great, that's good to see, and that's a really cool idea, you know. And the amount of times I hear people kind of say, well, I started doing it, but what's the point? You know, who cares? Who's watching it? Who kind of gives a shit that I'm talking about these things? And I think therein lies the problem. There seems to be this stigma that, you know, perhaps we, in a time when communication is perhaps the most developed than it's ever been in some ways, you know, certain people, certain of us at times are thinking, why am I doing this? I feel like an idiot, you know, talking to my phone and then sharing it online. Well, actually, I think it's a good thing, because it's how is it any different to you sharing some of your knowledge or you passing on some information, you know, to a friend in a coffee shop, you know, or talking to a cab driver? You know, you're basically just sharing something that you want to make a difference, right? You know, everybody's out there, you've got the classic rate, comment, subscribe, you know, that kind of like old saying that we all say at the end of our videos. But it's kind of part of the reason I think we're doing this is that we want to reach out and connect with people, right? Like, you want to share some knowledge or impart some information, or you want to connect, which is what we do as human beings. You know, I think if we all just kind of sat in our rooms, you know, the chef was in the kitchen not speaking to anyone, the composer was in the studio not speaking to anyone, which is pretty much most of the case, I think, for us guys. But, you know, why can't we share little bits of information? You know, I love cooking. I'll go onto I've got YouTubers I follow who will show me various recipes I should try out, you know, and I can see a lot of similarities and common anomalies, yeah, between, you know, cooking and composing. It's all a palette of ingredients that you mix to create a palette, right? Which, how's that any different to painting as well? So all these, on a human level, you can connect on lots of these subjects. And I find there's always a level of guilt when people stop doing their channels. They're always like, oh, well, I was doing it and I probably should have kept that up, but it's been a year or it's been 6 months, so I won't bother putting a video up anymore. And then it's like that communication's stopped. I suppose this started, there was a night, I think mid last week, and I couldn't sleep, and I was kind of pondering the world and these sorts of things. So I went on Snapchat, catching up with some of my friends around my sister's currently in Australia, so I like to see what she's up to. Hello sis, if you're watching, by the way. You know, and I'm just interested to see what people are basically up to. Not really interested in the club videos. I mean, great, you're in a club, but, you know, okay, like, it's good to see if someone's on holiday or someone's, you know, doing something that's you know, not just going out and getting completely smashed, I suppose. Well, I suppose that's got its place, but I'm rambling now. Anyway, my buddy Grant Borland, hello mate, if you are watching this video, he is down in Michigan, and he basically has started a podcast. So it was basically, I was just scrolling through and he put a clip of his podcast up, and I could tell it was like, yeah, I've done this, guys, I've put this podcast out. And I thought, I'm going to go and listen to it. And I did, I listened to it, and he was talking a lot about kind of the differences between kind of being a creative and creating, you know, saying that you can be creative in the sense of that you're kind of a higher up in a company and you come up with an idea to, say, push a product or push a service. So there's that creativity. Then there's the creativity of actually sitting down and creating something, a painting, a drawing, a composition, you know, those sorts of things. And and time management, and kind of, I suppose, touching on some of the things I've talked on this channel before, you know, balancing a day job and your creative work, which is a real strain and a real struggle. I think anyone who's out there saying, oh yeah, I work, you know, full time in a day job, and then I do my music, or I do my painting, or I play my guitar, you know, and that's easy, they're lying. It's bloody hard work, and it can be absolutely exhausting. So for me, working in the same field as Grant, you know, that was refreshing to kind of hear that, oh Christ, you know, Grant, you know, he has that sort of thing going on as well, and oh, he's you know, what happens when he's out, when his projects are down, or like, I've got a bit of downtime now, you know, you got up the hours at the day job. Then I thought of some other friends I've got who run like a podcast focusing on Apple products and kind of tech. That's called Blue Ink Code. My buddy Jack and Lex run that, and they have guests talking on that. I thought of my mate Richard, who does basically, he's like a video games enthusiast. You know, he knows if you're going into like retro games, this guy knows his stuff. You know, all the arcades and all the old computer shops, and kind of the cultural impact that video games had, and the communities that were built around that, and how that, I suppose, broke down and went online. And he can tell you the ins and outs of so much to do with video games. You know, so he had a channel and was kind of like streaming live games, and then like opening up old cabinet stuff, and some of it goes a bit over my head, but you know, all the PC Engine stuff and like fixing drives, amazing stuff, right? Again, he kind of stopped doing the channel. Recently, my friend Matt has started doing like a Christmas challenge, so he's been basically watching a Christmas movie every day, and then kind of giving quite eloquent reviews of them, and you know, should they sit on the shelf or not, kind of thing, like where do they sit in the family, and talking about the score as well, which I appreciate. You know, anyone who talks about the score in a film, for me, is a good thing. You know, so all these channels, I'm endorsing them, basically. Good, you know, keep doing them, guys, because it's kind of, all right, there's a quote I literally just saw, and I'm going to read this to you from a. Right, so it would seem that the iPhone doesn't like you going off the video when you're recording a video, which it makes sense, idiot. So sorry about the slight cut in the video there. To go back to the quote on Twitter, which I read from the musician Lorne, some of you may want to know him. He basically has put up about 4 hours ago, he said, "This whole likes, stroke subscribers, stroke followers, stroke stats shit is out of hand. There are young artists out there who will grow to think that these empty numbers are somehow a worthy trade for their real mental, physical and spiritual currency that they'll burn for their craft." I mean, that is essentially summing up everything I'm saying in this video, and that's mad that I saw that quote. I literally was coming online to check that I had the right location for Grant. So I was nicking his Twitter, right? And that quote came up. You know, and I thought, well, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. And this is what I'm trying to say, guys, is like, you know, if you want to share an idea, or you want to share something, like a thought you've had, and all you're focused on is how many people pressed the like button or how many people shared it, you're going to fail, basically. You've got to just keep going, because I feel that kind of, I get a bit disheartened sometimes if I get a dislike on one of my videos, or, you know, something I've just spent, you know, I don't know, God knows how many hours, you know, like 500 hours on, or whatever, an album or something, or maybe not 500 hours, but a long time, you know, and then like it gets like 2 retweets and 1 like, and you're like, oh, okay, like great, you know, and then the old classic, I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to say it, you know, the cat video, you know, how come the cat video, the cat playing the piano, get 10,000 likes and my album got 2 shares, you know what I mean? But it's kind of like, I feel like if we all just stopped sharing and we all just thought, what's the point, and everyone became kind of nihilistic and in their viewpoint on that, and like, I'm not worth it, so why am I bothering, we'd be in a pretty bad place, basically, you know, spiritually, culturally, just no, basically. So, you know, sharing something, I suppose, from a personal perspective when it comes to my YouTube channel, which I was very active in, I suppose 2016 was my most active year on YouTube, and musically as well was a huge year for me. 2 albums, an EP, a single, like I was on it, lots of projects floating about, and I went to like a BFI conference in London, to basically there to talk about film scores, and Stephen Price was there talking about his gravity score. So we're looking through the Pro Tool sessions and all those sorts of things. So anyway, I'm in the bar afterwards, and these two geezers come up, hey, you know, are you Mike, kind of thing. And I thought, Christ, I was like, how do you know me from? Like, oh, from your YouTube. Like, that was really useful. It was really interesting what you said. And I thought, I left, you know, the event was amazing, right? But what I took away from it was, you know, I stopped doing these. This was in probably like late 2017, right? And I'd practically put no videos up that year. I'd stopped sharing. I'd stopped communicating, and I kind of gone a bit reclusive and a bit, you know, inward, which is not good. And you know, if I'd have kept that communication up, you know, you can really meet some friends. I think through online, and you can hit a much larger target audience, you know, than your kind of in circle, you know, and even in your own country, your own town, you know, if you go to a networking event, it's a very tight knit community, right? A very, very tight knit community. And you know, if you've shared something insightful, or someone's enjoyed something you've said, that is then the sparkle for a greater conversation, you know, professional working relationship, or a great friendship, you know. So I suppose that is literally in a nutshell what this video is about, is, you know, don't just think, oh, I'm not going to share, or I'm not going to say something because no one will care, or oh, I only got 10 subscribers this month, I'm going to stop. I've been subject to it, you know, and it's not what it's all about. It's about, you know, if you can connect with 10 people, fine, you know, and you're kind of, in a way, it is like writing a diary. I mean, I have a personal diary that I keep, but you know, this is, to me, is diary. This is me writing, talking to my diary. I'm just choosing to share the information with the world and say hello. So keep going, guys. I'm going to put the links down to Grant's podcast, to Rick's YouTube channel, to Matt's Christmas channel YouTube, to the Blue Ink Code podcast. Go and check those out if you have some time. As always, thank you for all the comments. Please rate, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. And I'll see you in the next video, hopefully very soon. Okay, guys, take care. Bye-bye.